Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Whiskey Crusaders. We're very lucky to have, Mike here from the Cult of Balcones. I'm very excited about this. He's the founder of the Cult of Balcones. As a special group, I got a random, Instagram ping is like, hey, you have a lot of Balcones. You might like these people. I'm like, ooh, cool. I love Balcones. By far the most reviewed thing on this channel. Of course, we've been good friends with Balcones for years. I have 75 plus different Balcones, maybe more, maybe 80 at this point. But he sent me four I've never had, so I'm really excited about that. So we'll let Mike tell you about himself and how this fun stuff started.
Hi, everybody. My name's Mike. So I'll try to make it quickly to get to starting the group. I'd always been a beer guy.
Okay.
And 2020, my wife was trying to decide, what do I get him for Father's Day? So she got me a membership to Flavier.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. So, and my whiskey experience was Jack and Cokes, maybe, while I was in the military, the Class 6, the liquor store.
I love the Class 6, so thanks for your service.
Oh yeah, no. They grabbed a whole bunch of Jack Daniel's single barrel.
Nice.
So, I was getting that for Jack and Cokes, and
such a great price. The Class 6, dude. There's $35 back in the day. So cheap.
I really wish I had been more into whiskey while I was in the Army, because I would have some just phenomenal bottles when they were way cheaper.
Oh, way cheap. Nobody cared. It was so great.
Yeah. So she gets me the membership, and it didn't take long for me to start discovering Texas whiskey. The first one I actually had was a Devil's River small batch.
Okay.
And then that I was like, hey, that's pretty good. So then I think I got a sample of something else, a rye, but I can't remember what now. Okay. But every quarter you get to pick a full-size bottle, right? So the second bottle I picked was Balcones Baby Blue.
Nice.
Just loved it. I'm a big old-fashioned guy, so I was using it in an old-fashioned. So I went through the bottle pretty quick. Bought another bottle. And then I realized that some of the stores up here in Oregon had the core lineup. So I ended up with Pot Still, and I ended up with Brimstone, Texas One. They didn't have a Lineage, but I ordered one from online. So I had a few of the basic cores, especially of what you can find back then in 2020 up here in Oregon.
Sure.
Well, I was headed to an event. Some buddies were going to sit, oddly enough, at a friend's gravesite, smoke some cigars. So I went into a liquor store in Portland that had cigars. They got a big walk-in humidor. And I happened to look, and I'm like, oh, they got some Balcones, but I've got everything they have. And the clerk saw me looking, and he's like, hey, you like Balcones? I'm like, yeah, I kind of really like their stuff. He's like, we did a barrel pick with them. You got to come look at this. So he takes me up where they've got all the bottles at. And he's like, it's cask strength rye. It's real chocolate, real coffee, some good pepper. I'm like, sounds good. Grabbed it, went home, or went to the funeral, I should say, and went and did my thing. And I went home and tried it that night. And it was everything he said. It was just a chocolate bomb.
Yep.
And it was barrel number 19728.
Okay.
Cask strength rye. So I was like, this is my whiskey.
Absolutely.
So as I'm exploring the whiskey, I somehow get following the Whiskey Tribe, and I'm watching the Whiskey Tribe YouTube videos. And so I joined the Facebook group, and there's a whole lot of other Balcones fans in there. And we got to talking on a post, and somebody said, we should have our own group. We should have our own Facebook group. And I was like, hold on, I'll be right back. Because I run and have started a couple of veteran groups for the different units that I was in. So I kind of knew how to do it. So I go make it real quick, and I go back into the comments, and I'm like, hey guys, I created this and blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, I got myself in trouble with the Whiskey Tribe admins because I posted the link.
Oh,
and I was trying to say, hey, there's this group that is a side shoot off of you guys, but they didn't like it too much, so I ended up getting banned.
That's hilarious.
I still watch all the videos.
Yeah. Are you still banned from the tribe Facebook group?
Well, admin and I had a little conversation, and like I was like, dude, I'm like just trying to, tell people in your group that there's this group, and he's like, well, long story short, I'm not on the Facebook group, and it is what it is. I get it. I broke all the rules. Same rules that I'm now trying to enforce in our
on your own, sure.
So because I was new, I didn't know the rules, so I get the group started. Figured it was going to be 20 people. Figured it was going to be those people that were in that chat.
Sure.
It grew. It went to 20. Then it went to 50. Then we're at 100, and it just kept getting bigger. And more people, were coming in. And then early on, one of my admins, Eric Elvigan, was, one of the originals. One of my other admins, Brandon Thorpe, who was also here in Oregon, he was one of the originals. And then we get Eric McKinley, who's one of our admins, and he's the guy that lives in New Jersey. Okay. That I was talking to you before this started. Yeah. And he's like, he was big into the Arizona whiskey scene, had some good friends, and he's like, hey, maybe you want to like change the rules on this. Like he gave me some ideas of, hey, this is how you can keep from getting into trouble, with Facebook and all that thing. And it really was like, if it wasn't for my admins, the 5 other guys that I have helping me, like, it probably would have got shut down pretty quick, because I didn't know the rules. I didn't, know that you don't say certain words. You can't post certain words or certain, phrases. So without them, it really would have probably stayed pretty small. Yeah. But we just kept going, and people from the distillery found us, and joined. Nice. And I was like, hey, I hope you guys don't mind. And they're like, no. We actually kind of like that, I mean, you're helping us.
You're like, we don't have to do anything. You sell the whiskey for us.
Yeah. Perfect. I mean, sort of, kind of, but
it was, fans of whiskeys get people excited. They go out and buy. I mean, obviously, selling, obviously.
Well, and the biggest thing was they're like, we don't have to run it. So
exactly. We do nothing. And people are like excited, which is awesome. Say hi to some people in the chat here real quick. So let's see who we got in the chat. We got Steve A in here. We got Tone. We got Charles Ashworth, Ben Phillips. Let's see, Nutty 93, Chris S. Who else I seen here? I know I saw Andy in here. There's Mike Franklin, Richard Amiro, of course, big person, obviously prior at the Whiskey Tribe and at the Fang and Feather. If you got to check out Richard's at Whiskey Provisioner, go check out his stuff. And there's Spencer and John. How's it going? I know, of course, Ben's been to the castle a few times. And in fact, for Ben's birthday, we did an entire special Balcones lineup, and it was amazing. So
really? Nice.
We are quite a big fans. So Whiskey Adventure wants to know, was Cult of Ardbeg an inspiration for the Cult of Balcones?
It was. I'm actually a member of that group as well. And then there was the fact that where Balcones is located.
Okay.
So it's kind of a dark little joke, but the Branch Davidians,
they are there. Still are.
Well, they were. Well, yeah, I guess they are. And early on, we actually had a poll because some people were like, well, that might be a touchy subject, the whole cult. But we I didn't
even think about that part. I can see that. Yeah.
We put that up as a poll, and everybody's like, no, we think it's a great name. So, we pretty much stuck with it. And then it works really good for saying Cobb, as you can see.
Yes, it does.
Our logo back here. And
I like, it works out well. But I think Richard, the first time I ever had the cash strength rye was actually in the vault for the very first time I visited. Have you been down the vault at all, or have you never even been?
I've been down there. One of my kids actually used to live in Waco, so we were down there visiting and went on tour.
Very cool.
did a tasting, and it was actually, oh man, what year was that? Well, it was before our first barrel pick, so 2021, 2022.
Okay.
I think it was 2022 that I was down there,
Okay.
because I actually picked up all of my samples for the
Oh, nice.
very first barrel pick
Very cool.
from the distillery.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's a good point too there, Naughty 93, the Cult of Gaines in Waco. Good point.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. My wife loves those people.
Thankfully, my wife could care less and just likes whiskey, so she could care less. She's like, we go to Balcones, she could give a shit about that other stuff. She's like, no, she loves.
Oh,
Balcones
we went and did the whole
No, she's like, she likes to go there. And was it Union Square or fucking Square, whatever that famous Frank, whatever that. That's like a block or two away from the distillery. It's a really good place to eat a bunch of different restaurants, so that we like to stop when we go through Waco. But yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, Andy. Well, Waco is kind of a scary place. You're not wrong. If you get diverted when there's like traffic, it's like, yee. It's not what you expected. There's a really fancy liquor store though. Oversaw some setup they had. I guess I haven't been to the fancy liquor store in Waco, but I haven't stopped
there's
there either.
Bass Liquor.
Maybe I don't know.
Boast Liquor. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. It's over by the lake, if I remember right.
Okay.
Pretty good selection, I believe.
Nice. It doesn't hurt when you're friends with Jared and Gabe and Emma, so it helps. So just go to the distillery and get stuff. So yeah.
Oh, I mean, I know that being from Oregon, like I said, sometimes it's a little difficult to get a hold of some of the good stuff.
Yeah, I'd imagine you don't probably get a whole lot of special selections up there, unfortunately.
Oddly enough, so the store that I got that rye from has done at least 3.
Nice.
Yeah, we have a number of stores that know about Texas whiskey and
that's
especially
awesome,
Balcones.
Yeah.
So they've, there's usually some kind of a single barrel selection at, I don't know, at any given time, probably 2 or 3 stores in the whole state.
No, perfect. Then, hey, Justin, good to see you. I love it. Here we go. John says, to paraphrase, Chief Birdie from John, it's only a cult if you look at it from the outside. Or as Andy says here, Baylor Swole Stadium looks like the aerial view of a toilet. Well, he is from Oklahoma, so he might be biased. So, Oh, yes, of course, Andy. We did finish last week, with Steve and Ben for the amazing Advent calendar we do here every year. And Andy beat Tara. That means Tara gets to walk the dog in the nice winter cold for the month of January. So congratulations, Tara, on losing. You're welcome. It's lots better selections Oregon from the north than North Dakota. I would imagine so, Leighton. That's probably a good point. Can't imagine there's a whole hell of a lot of selection. What do you get? Maybe the 6 options in North Dakota Balcones would be my guess. So, it works. So, your cool little glassware, I assume. Who came up with the logo? Did you design the logo or some of the other admins?
No, actually, Mr. McKinley did up the logo.
Nice.
And then during our second barrel pick, one of the pick team had ordered from Distillery Products in Montana. So what the glass is called is a perfect dram glass.
Okay.
And then they laser etched our logo on there.
Oh, okay.
And so we all bought glasses.
Nice.
Well, now it's kind of become a thing that every time we do a pick, the pick team gets glasses.
Oh,
so
nice.
I always ask, hey, does anybody want to order glasses? At this point, I've kind of built up a stock of them, so I can have a few on hand.
Yeah, Distillery Products in Montana, they're awesome. I love those people. They're a fantastic brand. If everyone needs glassware, definitely go see Distillery Products in Montana. They're fantastic people. Great family company. Yes, Andy, you're welcome that Tara hates us both now. It's fine. We have a castle full of whiskey. She'll come back. I'm not worried about it. But you have to live with her, so that's your problem. But, I guess maybe we should pour some whiskey at this point, and then we'll go from there. I think it only seems fair at this point. I've been talking for like 15 minutes. So which one should we start with of the 4 we have that you sent this evening?
Oh, let's see. What did I send you? I sent you.
I think the
Let's
lineage is the least blue.
of what you have. Open up that 8392.
8392.
So that was from our very first pick.
Oh, nice.
Very first pick we couldn't decide solely on one, so we selected two bottles.
Perfect.
We selected the 8392.
Okay.
And then we selected barrel number 17256. 17256 was just your classic Texas 1 single malt, because we figured, that's kind of what they're known for. So we had to go with what everybody would obviously already have or have had.
Sure.
And then 8392 is an ex tequila cask, and we were just like blown away by it. So we're like, okay, this definitely needs to get bottled and put out for the group.
So it's the Texas single malt, but in a tequila cask, in an ex rumble cask as well.
Yep.
Holy crap. And 63.2. Very nice. Ooh.
Oh, did I put 0.2? My bottle says 63.3.
Okay. We'll go with what your bottle says. I'm sure that's the actual one. I'm going to put it on my sticker.
I mean, we were all just blown away by it. And we did these blind. Alex, when we did it, Alex Elrod got on there and gave us all the fancy details during the tasting. So
yeah, Alex is a good guy. Let's see. Firewater Liquor is what a Whiskey Adventure says. The one that's in Waco. That's the special place, apparently.
Okay.
That's a good question. Andy wants to know, what is the thoughts of the Cult on Balcones going to only single malt versus other stuff? As in they're dropping the bourbon, unfortunately, and some of the other fun things we all enjoy. I'm sad.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag. I think I've seen some comments where people are like, okay, I wasn't a big fan of the bourbon anyway.
I love the bourbon.
Oh no, I love the bourbon, or I love the rumble, or I love
do too.
The True Blue.
I'm gonna have to buy a bunch of extra backups of the old school rye, freaking the red label bourbon, and the rumble. It's like, son of a bitch. I love that stuff. Oh yeah, I know the True Blue 100 is gone too. I gotta see if I can find a backup of that. I have backups of most of these, but some I'm out of that are like down to this much. I do need to find backups before that stuff's gone. But it is what it is. But this smells amazing. This reminds me of those sugar cookies with lots of frosting you get from Kroger.
What's funny is that it's an ex tequila, but it doesn't have like
a little
bit
of agave.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just like a hint in the background there. Oh yeah, the weed is definitely
what is that? But not so much that it's overpowering any of your other flavors.
I wish we knew what tequila it was prior. I know they'll never tell us. They may not even know.
Yeah, I do not. I don't think there was any notes on that. Probably tomorrow I'll have a message from Alex if he sees this and,
that'll be cool.
Says,
usually
if I'm like, hey, I got this barrel, or somebody's asking me about this barrel, what's the details on this? They're looking for info, and he has all of that. So he might have it.
Yeah, that'd be great if he does. If he doesn't, it is what it is. The regular strength rumble a few times. Oh, but man, if you get those cast strength, my favorite one is a 2016 cast strength rumble. Oh, that thing was delicious. I've got a couple others, but
I've got one that's starting to get low, so I'm trying to conserve it.
I feel you, and eventually, unfortunately, they will run out, and then I'll just be sad.
But and the funny part is that I've never been a fig guy. Just not my kind of thing. But that flavor profile that an ex rumble cast gives, whatever they put in there, just kind of elevates it to me. Some people like sherry cast, or they like port cast, or to me, an ex rumble cask It
It's
just,
delicious.
I don't know, it just adds a lot of character to the whiskey.
Yeah. What have I got? I've got a rumble finish in a tequila cask that I got a hold of.
Ooh.
It's fun. We'll have to probably get you some samples of some crap you don't have. Did you say you found a farmer's market or something recently? The one, yeah, it's the one I'm missing. It's like of all there's a couple that I have. I know you said you were looking for Lukenbach and what Buharia. Did you get a hold of those now?
I actually, after posting about that, my DMs got blown up.
Nice.
So I actually have a Brujeria and a Hechiceros
Perfect.
headed my way.
Awesome.
So the only one, I got to. It's funny because now they just keep putting out some really good stuff. But
yeah,
for a while I was like, okay, if I get this bottle, I'm going to be done chasing, and then if I get this bottle, I'm going to be done chasing. Nice. Now I was like, okay, I need this. I need these 4. So far, I've got 3 of the 4, and I'm still just hoping to one day find a Lukenbach.
Ooh,
I've had samples of it, so
Lukenbach is stellar.
Yeah,
it's one of the best things I think they've ever made. Personally, I just love it. It's one of my absolute all-time favorites. Let's see. Andy wants to know: did you guys have any anxiety when Diageo took over?
Yes.
I think we all did.
I think everybody did. I think, it's almost like thin ice speaking about it. I mean, honestly, we're not part of the distillery, so we can, voice our frustrations, I think. But at the same time, you don't want to step on too many toes.
Right.
Personally, and I can't speak for anybody else. I mean, I've heard other people's opinions. Personally, my opinion is I was like, okay, what is this going to mean for the near future and for the far term future? Does this mean that we're going to see greater distribution? Mm-hmm. Which you might.
Yes.
I do know that all of a sudden, a whole lot of pot still bourbon has shown up in Oregon throughout the state.
Yep.
A whole lot of Lineage. Mirador Eclipse is in a lot of stores up here now.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
they're punching it out.
That's one of the good things. The bad thing that a lot of people were worried about is, okay, what's going to change?
It's experimentation we're afraid of. That we'll lose.
Yeah, is everything going to get cut? Is everything going to get, instead of 120 proof, all of a sudden are we going to be only seeing 90 proof bottles?
God, I hope not.
So that has been something that a lot of people have talked about.
Yeah, and I know they're definitely gonna drop the specialty bottles, as many as they've been putting out, down to 1 or 2 a year from now on.
That's kind of understandable.
Plus, since they're changing
biggest point of contention. The biggest point of contention has been, if you can see.
Hold on, let me make you
the labels on the side, right?
All right, can you show it back real quick?
Huh?
Can you show it? Yeah. What? So what are you showing? I made you full size now.
Oh. So you went from the side sticker,
right,
that has our logo, to the neck hanger.
Oh, I've not seen one of those yet. That doesn't excite me at all. That's just shit that's going to get lost and broken.
A lot of people were a little upset about it.
Yeah, I can see why.
One, we had our own sticker. I mean, and there's a whole reason for it. It was explained, and I've kind of moved on from it. It is what it is. We, they have rules. Before, Balcones could kind of play, loose and fast with the rules, and now they have to follow them. And I get it. I get it, but it doesn't mean that we're completely happy about it, because before you had your little side sticker with the barrel number and all the fancy details. how long it's been aged, what it was aged in, and now you just have the hanger.
Yeah. Well, I guess
Again,
everybody look for the old crap.
You gotta kind of go with the flow and follow the rules. So I get it.
Yeah,
The other option is we as a group come up with a sticker, but then who's going to front that cost? Because
right,
I mean we're already all buying whiskey, and you can kind of see that I don't just have Balcones.
Of
I mean,
course.
I do. This whole cabinet is nothing but Balcones right here.
Nice.
I just moved my bottles here so they're a little more in view for our little chat here. But I mean, I've got a shelf here, got a shelf there, got a globe right there.
I feel you.
I
built the whole castle because of it.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
it's one of those things that happens. But yeah, no, it's. I know, like at the distillery too, obviously it's not the same. Now there's you got to fall between the blue lines, and you can't don't step over the blue line tape. It's like you got to follow these rules. Before it's like, who the fuck you want? It's fine. It's like, Gabe's like, whatever you want to do. Now it's like you have to follow these rules. It is what it is. I mean, some things are good because there's some things we probably shouldn't have been doing before. I'm sure OSHA would have been displeased. They're like, yeah, you can't take guests up there anymore. That's not a great choice. I'm like, but it was awesome.
I know. I love any picture I see where they're taking the picture down from the top of the stills is like some of the greatest photos ever. And I'm sure you can't get up there anymore.
Oh, there's
I'm sure if you're buddies with people, you could get up on the roof and take pictures, looking up at the water tower. But now, you're stuck.
There's no way in hell that will ever happen.
Taking that water tower picture from down in the parking lot, which I have.
Yeah, because I know it was funny. We were there. They're like, yeah, we have to power wash the building. They told us it was dirty. We have to clean the building. I'm like, okay, sure. I thought that was hilariously funny. So there one day where was completely power washing the entire outside of the building.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever works. You want to make it look pretty. I guess. Hey, Juniper Lane, good to see you. But yeah, this is an excellent pick, especially for your first pick. This is awesome.
Can't like I said, we were just like, no, we can't just pick one. Like, and that first tasting group was just wild. I mean, we've changed the way we do the tastings now. Now we have a set number. Before that first pick we had, I don't even remember how many people. I have it written down somewhere in their names so that I keep track of all that stuff. Like who was on the pick team, what barrels were offered to us, what barrels did we pick, that all that good info. But there was at least a dozen, if not more, maybe 16 people, and we're all on Zoom and we're all drinking. So we're drinking everything, every sample. Like we've already tried them, but then we're drinking while we're on the Zoom. So it was I had to call in the next day. I wasn't able to go because we did it during the week. It was on like a Tuesday, I believe.
Ouch.
Yeah, pretty right. So like right now I'm taking it slow.
It's a good choice.
Because I do have to drive tomorrow. But it was just a good time with a whole lot of people, just a wide variety of whiskey experience from guys that have been in the whiskey for, most of their lives, or at least most of their drinking life. Guys that were part of, bigwigs. Mr. Patrick Cohn was one of the first, was a member of that first pick team, and we're like, hey, walk around your house and show us all your whiskey. So he's walking around with his phone. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'd say that's for sure.
So then the next time we did it, we were like, okay, the admin team and every admin individual picked another person. So I think we had 10 people total. And we're like, okay, here's how we're going to do this. You're going to get your samples, and then you get into them at your own convenience. That way you can spend, as much time as you needed to like really dive into it.
That makes sense.
instead of trying to do it all in one night and then being, by that seventh sample, you're like, oh yeah, this tastes good, but I'm not getting any notes. So that's kind of how we're doing it now.
That seems fair.
Yeah, it seems to work a lot better. And then later, we get onto a Zoom, and everybody's like, okay, here's my thoughts, and we end up choosing the bottles. The funny part is that the second time we again picked two, mainly because bottle 21838, which was part of barrel pick number 2 or the second round.
Okay.
We had that in the first pick, but we're like,
but it needed more time in the barrel.
We really like this,
yeah,
but it's kind of young. So why don't we reserve this? We let it get some age, and then revisit it on the next pick.
How old was this first pick, the 8392?
Oh boy, it was. Hold on, I gotta put on the old man spectacles.
All good.
So it was age 70 months.
Oh, nice. Okay, so
yeah,
got some decent age on it then. All right.
Yeah, and then the 21838 ended up being aged for 53 months.
Okay.
And when we first tried it, we loved it, but we're like, we already kind of picked these two for that first.
Yeah.
Let's put some age on this and then come back to it. So I think it was, we're gonna try to revisit it no more than 9 months.
Okay.
But I think we went a little bit over that.
Okay.
And that might be where a certain somebody starts blowing up this chat over here. But I haven't seen him yet. Because he's like, I love this, but it was really good back then.
Ooh. Yeah, it smells nice. So the other question the guys are asking is, what are your other favorite Texas distilleries? Hey, Rob, see ya.
Oh, are you asking me or everybody in general?
Both.
Yes. So, me personally, I mean, let me see. I mean, I've got Andalusia on the shelf here. I've got Garrison Brothers, many different selections. I've got Iron Root.
Love them.
Still Austin. I've got Crowded Barrel, William Price.
Well, I'm amazed you. Did you get William Price up there? Or did you get William Price when you were down here? Or somebody send you a bottle?
Somebody brought me a bottle.
Is it a William Price that's really a Balcones?
You know what? I'm drawing a blank.
Because I've had some of the Balcones. They're awesome.
It is the sherry finished single malt.
That sounds
if
right.
I remember right, it was
pretty sure that's Balcones.
It was something like that. I've also got, well, I don't anymore because I used it the other day. I finished it off, but and I'm going to screw up the name, La Gritona Tequila.
Okay.
Reposado. That was finished in Texas single malt barrels from Balcones.
No shit. Didn't know that was a thing. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, the funny part is that a lot of people couldn't find them in other states, but there were like 4 stores up here that had a dozen bottles. So I ended up going and grabbing some of those for people.
Awesome. Balmorea is always my favorite from Garrison. I just find that it's much more consistent. I haven't had this year's Cowboy yet, Tom. You said that's stellar. It's good to know that's stellar. Guadalupe's good shit. I've got an old bottle before Guadalupe. It was Estacado. I've got an old one of those still. Those were good. The back of those old port ones. I don't know why they renamed it from Estacado to Guadalupe, but they did for whatever reason there.
Yeah. So, I never had any of that. I've got a sample of 21 Guadalupe right here.
Oh, nice.
And then I got full bottles of the Honeydew Cowboy. I had a full bottle of Balleria. And then somebody got me a sample of Ladybird And oh man, that was
crazy expensive.
That was good stuff. I know.
I just because we we're judges for the Texas Whiskey Festival, and that was in our blind for the festival, and it's like it's good, but God, $350 is crazy expensive for it though.
Yeah. Well, the one good thing about Oregon is that the LCC, as much as they're kind of a pain.
Oh, that's right.
They set the price. Like, you're not gonna see a store asking
that's a good
$100 or hundreds or thousands of dollars over what MSRP is.
Yeah.
So
Stellar Rye is definitely good. I like that. Oh, do you crack the Laguna Madre? Ooh, nice, man. It's also a very expensive one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I got to try it, but the very first, I don't know if they've done just the one batch, they've done multiple batches of Laguna Madre, but I know I tried the very first one. I'm like, this is 8 years old. I'm like, wow. It's good, but God, it's got a lot of oak. It's Chris Garrison has a lot of tannins to begin with, but it's like, that was very oaky. I had a few drinks with Charlie Garrison. Nice, Rob. That's awesome. Didn't tell me it was until the end of the night. That's awesome, Rob. That's pretty great. Nice. I tried the cigar blend, Andy. That Tanager. It's good, but I don't think it's worth what it's going for price. Unfortunately, one thing I say that I really do appreciate from Balcones and Iron Root that neither brand has ever had some crazy ass price on any product ever. It's always been super reasonable. Like the most I've ever paid, I think is $150 for anything from them, which I appreciate. Hey, William. But they're good stuff to say the least. So which of these do you like better of yours? I know they're both your babies, but or is it like they just both great? That's what I need to know.
I actually really love that 3AP, the 21838, the third after Peat. Like people are like, what the heck is 3AP? And it's what we were calling it.
Okay. Okay.
Third after peated. And cool. Unfortunately, one of the admins is not a peat guy. Like he doesn't like peat at all. So he's like, ugh. Well, I'm going to buy a bottle because sooner or later one of you is going to run out, and then I'm going to charge you up the wazoo to buy my bottle. But
that makes sense then. See. Oh yeah, Cask. Yeah, if you're just starting out and drinking, Cask Strength is definitely not a great choice to start with. That just means it's going to burn a lot, generally speaking, for most people.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that is that when I started my journey, the best thing I can say about Flavor was they have their little sample packs, right? And that's actually how I really got into Balcones, because I bought that big, or I selected that big bottle of Baby Blue. And was like, oh, I like this. And then I noticed the next time I'm on there and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, hey, they got a Texas whiskey sample pack. And it was Texas 1 single malt.
Okay.
It was an Iron Root and some rye. But I don't remember the name of the rye, and it just like, it was good, but it was like, I was like, oh, I really like that Texas 1. And
it's such
pepper, chocolatey.
The crazy thing about especially those early Texas ones, they were like a year old, 14 months old. I still have bottles of those. They're freaking fantastic. I'm like, how is whiskey this stupid young, this good? I will never know.
Yeah.
And they just get better and better as they get older. And it's ridiculous. And now that we're getting, 5-6 year old single malts out of them, it's incredible stuff.
Yeah.
I got no complaints, to say the least.
You had any Wanderback?
Wander? I've heard of it. I've heard it, so it's supposed to be really great, but I've not had any.
So I know batch 5 and 6 are Balcones.
Yeah, I knew
that
Balcones was
they
up there.
they bought and then aged up here in the Columbia
Oh,
River
okay.
Gorge. Um,
Very cool.
and I've got bottles of 5 and 6. So
Nice. So how do they compare? Obviously, it's going to be very different climate you're aging in. How does that compare? Because it's still pretty obvious it's Balcones, or is it a fairly different because of where you're aging it at?
I pick up like flavors that you would get from Balcones.
Yeah.
But then so where Wanderback is at is in the Columbia River Gorge.
Okay.
They're up away from the river, but not too far. So that area during the summer, gets heat. During the
Yeah.
winter, gets a lot of snow. So, you're getting a lot of that in and out and in and out. And then
Sure.
you're getting like the wind blowing in, you're different. Kind of like it gets windy in central Texas,
Yeah.
you get the wind whipping down through there and it's just blowing the sage and all
Right.
the different, floral through. So you're getting that in the Columbia River Gorge too.
Okay.
Although you're getting a lot of dust though too,
Right.
from east side of our state.
Okay.
But yeah, you can kind of tell. The batch 6, actually, everybody, I mean, it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
But the batch 6, they kind of took down the ABV. Batch 5 was a much higher ABV that was just really, really good. And I really like a high ABV.
Me
So,
too.
Oh, I got off track. But so I started really getting into scotches and realized that Islay scotches were my thing.
Because they're amazing.
Then I jump into cask strength. And I'm like, I like that proof. So even though I was fairly young in my whiskey journey, I didn't have a problem with it. I was like, I like
go in the right direction quickly.
I like that spicy. So
yeah, I fell in love with Peat. For the first time I tried Lefroy 10, I'm like, where's this been my whole life? And I was like 23 at the time. Like, this is awesome. Because before that, Glenfiddich, Glenlivet, whatever. I'm like, which is good. I like Scotch. I'm like, no, this is awesome. Peat is amazing.
If you like that, have you had any McCarthy's?
I have had McCarthy. I do like their stuff.
They're another Hood River.
Only thing I've ever had from them is the Rego thing, and somebody sent me a sample of their cask strength like 5 years ago or so.
They've got one that's super peaty.
I heard their stuff's really good. We just don't get it here, unfortunately. We just get the one regular model. That's all we'll ever see.
Not long ago, actually, when we did the recent pick where we collabed with Lost Lantern.
Yes, nice.
Two of the samples were very smoky. One was McCarthy's Extra Peat, I think is what it's called. Okay. And the other one was Santa Fe Spirits.
Oh,
both of them. Yeah. I would have swore that I was having Ardbeg and Lefroy.
Wow, that's wild.
With those two samples. Because it was just so peaty and so smoky, and then I was just completely shocked. I'm like, oh, I need to get both those bottles. Yeah, I haven't yet, but
yeah, that would be good. This is my question. You might know the answer to. I don't know. I know we've all heard of this. The experiment where Balcones sent different climates all around the country. You know anything about that? Have you heard anything at all about how that's going at all, or still just out there?
I haven't heard anything on it.
Okay, I haven't either. So
like as far as how it's going, I had heard that they had done something like that. So I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not that in.
Okay.
I sometimes, what's funny is that once upon a time I asked Alex, I'm like, hey, you guys ever gonna do like a stout cask? And I jokingly said, I know it's a long shot, but you guys should totally see if you can get a hold of Guinness. And he's like, Guinness doesn't even know we exist.
He's probably sadly got a point.
Right? But then shortly after that, the Diageo purchase comes out. And I'm like, yeah, they own Guinness, so they know you exist.
That is a valid point now. That is pretty funny though. When you say that, it's pretty funny. Granted, I did really like the old Shiner batches they were doing. Those were good.
Oh yeah, nope. That the Bach and Grand Cru are two of the best.
Oh yeah, so good, so good. Let's see here. Andy, favorite ones from the calendar, probably that injury, that single barrel injury was amazing. Was it Smogen from Sweden was really good. Hey Cheech, good to see you. Those are probably my two favorites I can think of offhand. Those were amazing this past year. The old Dominic Cast Strength. There's a good choice, Steven. That's nice. All right, what should we move on to? The Lineage or the probably the Lineage because save the Eclipse for last.
Try that Lineage.
I think I've ever had a Lineage in anything except for regular Lineage, so this should be really unique.
So
that is dark, dude.
That was that was the very first barrel experiment I ever did.
Okay.
So 1 liter New American Oak.
Okay.
And first I soaked it in water for like, I don't know, 2 days. Dumped it out, let it dry for a day, and then put an Oregon Pinot Noir wine into it and let that sit for 30 days.
Okay.
It was kind of during summer, so every day I would come out here and just kind of turn it a little bit and shake it up, and then put the wine back into the bottle, and then poured the Lineage in. All right, I'm going to have to pull out the notes because they're pretty specific.
I like specific. That sounds awesome. The nerdier, the better. That's what we're all here for. And
I have to say, well, I won't say yet, but
the legs
it was
nuts.
Yeah. But what are you finding on your palate?
I'll try to see. Okay, lots of plum, raisin dates. Ooh, like a watermelon, cantaloupe, honeydew, a little bit of cinnamon, black pepper. What the hell? There's like this Laffy Taffy. It's really good. That's wild. But then that Pinot Noir starts showing up itself. Just the actual wine.
So let's see. I filled the wine. I dumped the wine the 21st of January, 2023. My note says wine was slightly darker than normal, dry red grape with a kind of a vanilla oaky.
Okay.
So then I threw in the Lineage, and it went from January 21st to January 27th, so only 6 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Lineage's normal orange color turned into a deep amber purple.
I mean, it is dark.
Previous notes were bananas, cider, and cinnamon on the nose, with peach, orange tang, toffee, and butterscotch on the palate.
Okay.
That's before I threw it in. That's what I was getting. After finishing, the nose is strictly wine. The palate is dry red grapes, slight vanilla, and orange tang. Whiskey sat for 6 days, checked at 5 days, and was very sweet. And then I wrote, should have dumped it at 5 days instead.
Oh, that's too bad.
So that was my notes. But off of my head, I started trying it at 2 days. Tried it at 3. Tried it at 4. At 4, it was getting very fruity without being, a dry red wine. Mm-hmm. Day 5, it was red vines, candy, apple, just sweet. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to let it ride. The next day, it was dry red wine. And I'm like, I screwed it up.
It's got
this strawberry
cream to it now.
But I do know that was, that was then. I bottle it, and then I ended up throwing Highland Park 12 into that barrel.
Okay.
And everything that happened previously, that Highland Park. Okay, I got to read you the notes for that one.
Fixed whatever.
Fruity nose, 2 days in barrel, sweet fruit, toast and tea palate. Day 5, licorice, red, not black, vanilla and cherries. I let it ride. Day 7, what have I done?
Oh, jeez.
Day 8, completely flipped, fruity, woody, and with leather.
Okay.
So bottled that, and about 30 days after it sat in the bottle.
That's crazy with that much change.
Yeah, it like that Highland Park, it, like I said, oh, what did I do? I messed up again. It literally turned back around and just became just a fruity joy. Like,
awesome.
it had some I'm not gonna say oaky, but it was more like, some leathery, dark cherry. It felt like all of the fruitiness I was looking for in that Lineage, all of a sudden came out in that Highland Park.
Nice.
And then I actually ended up, how many times did I use that barrel? So I used that 5 times, then I reset it with water.
Okay.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 fills.
Wow, very nice.
And in there, so fill 1 was the wine, then the Lineage, Highland Park, a tequila, a white tequila, Elijah Craig.
Okay.
Then I put some mead in there.
Ooh, nice.
Then I went to Tullamore.
Okay.
Was gonna retire it and then thought no, and threw in a semi-sweet dessert wine. Okay. Then I went with a Reposado tequila, and then finally a Rittenhouse rye.
Alrighty,
and then retired.
It's a hell of a ride.
It was crazy, the flavors that were coming out of that thing.
Wild. Hey, T Green, good to see you. Yeah, I really like that. I think it's great. I like all that extra fruitiness you added to it. That's fun. But I've found Lineage can be very different too, depending which bottle you get a Lineage.
Yeah. Well, and I was like, what am I going to use? People were like, oh, well, use a Bakes bourbon or use, Baby Blue. I'm like, I wonder if anybody's tried, messing with a Lineage. And it's pretty available up here. So
yeah.
And it's like
makes sense too.
$40-$50. So I was like, I'll grab that and throw that in there and just see what happens.
Yeah, because I've got a rye and a Pinot Noir cask that's really nice too.
Well, and then talking with, because we have a lot of wineries up here.
Yeah.
And
sure.
in my profession, we go to them a lot. Like we're constantly taking them bottles, or we're taking them barrels, or we're picking up their wine and taking it to one of the many warehouses that store it. So I got to talking to them, and we got talking about barrels and doing stuff, and they're like, yeah, don't, especially with a small format barrel, don't use water to swell it. Just swell it with whatever you're going to put in there first, and throw it in those little foil pans to collect up all the stuff that leaks out. They're like, because when you're throwing in the water, you might be drawing out more of the wood tannins than you really want to, and then you dump out the water and you're getting rid of it. So you're kind of getting rid of the stuff that you're wanting to impart into your wine or your whiskey or your mead or your beer or whatever you're putting in the barrel. So, and then I kind of got the same kind of info from some people in the whiskey industry. They're like, yeah, you can put the wrong thing in there, and it kind of kills off what you're looking for. So,
well, I guess now you know, right?
yeah, I know. Well, and now I've got like 3 or 4 more barrels.
Oh, nice. It's okay. As long as it wasn't an Ambriana barrel, you're in good shape. Because if you leave that in there for 6 days, it's destroyed.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They say you got about 2 days max. And then it's ready, got everything it needs. Because I was talking to Robert and Jonathan at Ironwood about it. And they're like, yeah. Because they got their first barrels of that. And they're like, no, you have 2 days. They're like, you can use it 40 freaking times because it's so overpowering. And then we've talked to the stores like, yeah, we made a mistake. We left them there for 3 weeks. Oh, we tasted Ambriana. The whole whiskey was ruined. I'm like, yeah, that's what I heard. Even like in a week, it is overpowering.
The interesting thing, though, is I wonder were they using small format or large?
No, those
large
are full
format?
size barrels.
Really?
They're just that overpowering.
Wow.
Yeah, this is.
I wonder if they tried putting stuff in there after.
I would assume. I'm sure that, like I said, they'll use it up to 40 times. They said so. We shall see. I'm interested to see what it does each time, and guess we'll go from there. But it's all good. Well, yeah, it's definitely the darkest Lineage I've ever seen, though. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's all that. It's all the wine. It just changed that color from that orangish hue.
You get the wine, but not crazy. How long did you make this?
Total of 6 days.
Okay. And then how long has it been sitting in the bottle for?
Oh, well, when did I do that? 2023?
Okay, so it's like a year, at least a year. Almost 2, maybe.
I mean, yeah, because I put the wine in December of 2022.
Okay, so it's been in the bottle for a while. Okay.
Yeah, and then the Lineage came out and went back into its bottle in 2023.
Okay.
So
It's
I'm sure, and my stuff's in a garage, so it's subject to the heat during the summer and the cold right now.
How hot does it get up there, though?
It's funny because like now, I mean, we had a day, not this year, but 2023, where we were the hottest place on earth.
What?
Yeah, we literally were. The Portland metro area was hotter than any place else on earth.
That's crazy.
For one day. Like we get kind of muggy up here now.
Okay.
It's funny because I say back in the day. So before I joined the military, we got slush.
Yeah.
We didn't get snow. The mountain got snow. I mean, obviously we've got Mount Hood and all that, but down in the valley we never got snow. We just got slush.
Yeah.
And we maybe got into the hundreds in late August, early September.
Okay.
Now we're getting into the hundreds in May, and we're getting feet of snow in January, February, and March. It just kind of weird. And we're muggy. Like I left the military and was stationed in Oklahoma and Texas and Georgia, and muggy. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna get away from that and go back to the nice, cool Pacific Northwest.
Sure.
And we get back here, and all of a sudden it's muggy, and it's like we brought the weather with us. What is that?
Apparently, that's bizarre.
So you get a good temperature swing, but I think
we could not do that here.
Yeah,
it would just pop and leak. Because my God, if I had all that crap in the garage, seriously, all I'd have was pop corks everywhere. It'd be horrible.
Yeah, I haven't had that issue.
That is a huge plus in your life. I mean, hell, you can go down the highway here with some whiskey bottles in your trunk and the damn things pop.
I know. I helped my kid move into Texas in May, and it was
lucky
97 and humid.
Yeah, it's not pleasant. It's nice now, though. Today was only 82. Although I think we're down to like 56 tonight, so it's been a nice swing for the day. I appreciate it. It's all good. All right, I think we should go ahead and pour this last bad boy. The one that I'm super stoked to try, the Balcones Eclipse Rye Cask European only release. 69%. Holy shit, this should be fun.
Thank you, Cameron.
Yes, thank you, because this is amazing. That this is the ones like, oh, I really got to try this one. Yeah. All right. That is how. Any idea how old this one is at all?
Let me look.
Oh wow.
I'm not actually sure. I don't know if it says either.
Ooh, Maltzilla. That's a good one. Yeah, I wish I had some of that. My Maltzilla is sadly gone. Oh, Peat Sauternes. That's a great one, Tom. Love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I'm sadly gone. Is Maltzilla.
I never got a hold of that one.
I wish I wonder if Will's got any left. Will might have so I'll have to ask him. If he's got any left, I can get you a sample of it. He had like a case, so I think he drank most of them by now. I drank mine, sadly. That's definitely one of the best Balcones I ever had. That is tremendous stuff. Going cash strength. There you go, Ben. Excellent choice. Yeah, wow. So it's just a regular cash strength rye that was put out for the Eclipse. Is that right? Or there's nothing special to it.
Let me read the back. Balcones Eclipse straight rye whiskey showcases the sharing of space that occurs in dual pitched fermentation.
Okay.
Co-fermenting with ale and whiskey yeast is common for single malt, and we bring this practice to a classic American style.
Okay. So double yeast. So kind of like the Mirador version, but a different types of yeast. Okay.
Yeah, I know Alex explained it once upon a time to me.
Yeah.
Or to us as a group, but I do remember him saying that it was just a different yeast.
Yeah.
Than they normally use. And then there was like it said, 2 yeasts. It's funny because that man has knowledge about how they're doing things, and I'm like, yeah, it just tastes good.
Sometimes in whiskey, that's just a good answer. Tastes good is good enough for me.
It's funny how you build that too, because I've gotten a few buddies into it, and originally they're like, yeah, it just tastes like I'm getting drunk.
I mean,
we made that joke, but and then now they're like, okay, I'm starting to get those flavors that you're talking about.
Yeah.
They're like, we thought you were just like, what is he talking about?
That's funny.
And then I was that same way, like,
sure.
Some of the guys
are
they're like, hey, try this. Are you finding anise? And I'm like, I don't even know what anise is. They're like, go to the spice aisle and look for anise, and then
yeah, that is one of the best ways to do it for sure. Hey, Sam. It's possible, Sam. I have no idea.
I actually think that rye, I'm pretty partial to the bottled and bond one. Yeah, but this one is probably my favorite of their ryes.
Oh, it's definitely good. Yeah, I need to put.
It's got a funk. It's got a funkiness to it that I just can't place. Like,
this reminds me of the old school. Like 2018 was the very first year Cask Strength came out. The rye. This reminds me of that release, of the very first release of it. A lot. Interesting. Yeah. I'd have to compare this to some of the other Cask Strength ryes I've got and see. One of my favorites is a port finish one. It's fan-freaking-tastic. But I know I've still got an original bottle of it. I'll have to compare that one and see if it's just I remember it correctly or it's just, it sounds like it's a good idea. Oh, it's so good. But yeah, what I love about these is all that awesome chocolate fudge that you get on the espresso. So freaking good.
Trying to think if I have. I'm sure I do.
Yeah, I imagine you probably do have one of those.
A French oak cast
Okay.
strength
Really?
rye. I think I do.
I haven't even seen one of
think,
those. That's
and
awesome.
I think it was a Specs pick.
Nice.
Specs or Total Wine, one of the two. I'm gonna have to investigate.
I
Actually,
bet it's Specs. Specs does more of the crazy stuff than Total Wine does. Specs picks tend to be pretty damn good. Yeah, that's fabulous. At least the rye is going to stick around. We're not losing the rye, thankfully. I know it's the bottle bond's a little bit different, of course, the percentages, but you still have the 4 different rye types, which is nice.
Nope, it must have been a sample.
Mm.
Oh, I do have a rum that's French oak.
Ooh, that's
that a single barrel, and that was a Total Wine up here in. Oh, well, actually, no, it was up in Washington.
Oh, very cool. That's awesome.
What barrel? 211.50. 2020.
Cool. I'm trying to go. How many rums? I don't know if I have any rum single barrels. I don't think I do, but I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not sure I've even seen one. Sounds great.
I hadn't seen that before. No. I must have either drank it or.
All right, night, Sam. It happens, you know. So what happens to good whiskey. You end up drinking it.
Yeah, that rum actually came from Eric Elvigan. He found it at the Total Wine up in Spokane or Spokane, Washington.
Nice. That's cool.
Or maybe the Total Wine in Idaho. One of the two.
Now, I know they do true. They don't ever do like baby blue picks. I mean, I know they do obviously true blue cask strength picks. And those are good.
Uh-oh. I lost volume with you.
Uh-oh. No good. There's a 10-year single barrel rum. Hey, Jason Coates. Ben, where did you see that at? And have you tried it? Because that sounds amazing. I don't know. We good? Get you back yet?
There we go.
All right, good. It's bad to lose your guest. At least, especially volume, at least.
I put my glasses on. It killed me. Flipped it off or something.
All good, all good. Delicious stuff. Well, thank you very much for this. This was everything I could have ever hoped for and then some. So yeah, this is awesome. I always love to try stuff that I've never had, and I will have to return the favor and get you some of my cool stuff you haven't had. The hard part is probably finding stuff you haven't had.
Oh, I know. It's funny because I was talking to somebody and I'm like, "Oh, hey, that looks good." And he's like, "Yeah, that's on the list you sent me of what you already have." And I'm like, "Oh, it is."
That's hilarious.
I was like,
God, that's so funny.
I was like, sometimes you just forget what you even have. I'm like, "Oh, hey, I haven't gotten into this bottle in a while. That's like tonight. I haven't gotten into a few of these picks.
Perfect
in a while, so
yeah.
it's interesting, like how has this changed since I've opened it, and it's gotten some air in there.
Sure.
And I think that's like with the Lineage. I think
I'm sure the air helped a lot.
It's gotten some air, and so it's changed. And that's one of the best things about whiskey is that
absolutely the air
it's not gonna stay the same.
No, which I really appreciate.
You can let it. I mean, usually that's how I try to do any tasting that I do, whether it's a blind or anything. I'll pour and immediately have a little sip. Okay, this is what I'm getting right now, and then sit it down and come back to it 5 minutes later after it's dissipated a little bit, and then it's like completely changed. Okay, now let's add a drop of water. Some people are add a drop of water and see if that brings out some things. So
Oh yeah, Ben, you're right. That was the 10-year for the anniversary this year. Yeah, that's the one I did not. It's the only one from the this year's I did not get a chance to try because it was out. So if anybody has a sample, I'd love to try that 10-year rum. That thing's I've heard it's amazing. Have you tried the 10-year rum at all by chance?
I haven't. I know a couple of people that have, and I'm waiting to see if they're maybe going to be generous.
I'm just like I just want to try it. I mean, it just sounds good. Like,
I
did you
did get to
try?
try the other stuff though.
Yeah, you tried the Decolor and the French
Oh
oak.
yeah,
And
and
Texas
the
oak.
French oak. I've actually got a bottle of the French oak up in here.
Yeah, I've got the Texas oak. The Texas oak is stellar.
I got to try it, but I wasn't able to get a bottle because the person that was at the distillery, was like, "Yeah, I'm grabbing bottles for me, and I'll grab you this or this." And I'm like,
Yeah, I just took the one they gave us. I'm, happy for. I probably should go back and get Decolor. I like the French oak, but to be honest, I think I like the older French oaks better. This was so tannic, not in a bad way, but I just like the a little bit younger French oak from the younger ones personally.
a Texas friend shared a 2019 French oak, and
that's the one I had. That thing is
stellar. Oh yeah, no, like he will not stop raving about that one.
Yeah, I still got a couple of them.
And I understand why.
Oh, dude,
it is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite bottles I think Balcones ever put out was that original French oak. Oh my gosh, that thing is ridiculous from 2019. Yeah, I love that bottle. I think there's like maybe this much of it up at the castle. So in case someone does a tasting on that one. So yeah, it's a good one for class. Okay, Ben says it's magnificent nose. You don't even want to start drinking. Wow. That sounds. Is it now, Ben? Is it the funky rum that they have? That's the the still strength. It's got a lot of that whole really funk agricole to it, or is it more like the cask strength aged rum? I assume it's more like that, just based on the age. But I guess we'll have to let us know because I want to try it either way. I mean, I'm sure it's awesome. I love their rum. The funny thing is, I could drink their barrel aged rum when I first got the original white oak, the 100 proof, the original one that was unaged. And I'm like, what in God's name is this? It was so freaking funky. And then I put it away for like 3 years and came back to it. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty damn great. Then I got the still strength. I'm like, oh, yeah, this is awesome. Now, do you like those funky rums like the clear ones they did, or is that not in your wheelhouse?
I have a bottle of the white rum.
Yeah.
Generally, and what did I get? I don't need, like, when we were at the distillery, it was still only 2 bottles that you could purchase per person.
Right.
Even though my wife doesn't drink whiskey, she was on the tour.
Sure.
And both my kids, and everybody tried, but my wife and one daughter were just like, drink a little bit and into the thing. Okay. And then they'd slide their glasses over to me and I'd finish them off. But the white rum I thought was good.
Yeah.
But I haven't really gotten back into that bottle. I've used it a couple times for some Cuba Libres.
Now, is this the 100 proof version or the still strength version?
I think it's the still strength version.
Still strength, okay.
And then I've got the dark rum. I've got
multiple dark rums. Those are great.
I've got that French oak single barrel.
Yeah,
I've
that's cool.
2 bottles of the I'm gonna mess up the name. Prohibita.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I remember that one was good.
I've got a little 4-ounce bottle that I got at an event that Alex and Tommy Moat were at, and then a full-size bottle. I actually used the dark rum, so I did an experiment. Just doing all the things. I mean, I've got somewhere around here. I've got a infinity bottle. And it's got all kinds of craziness in there. It's in a old Pendleton 1.5 liter or 1.5 gallon.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
And then I was like, okay, I'm going to, what happens if I add this to this. So
Sure.
somebody
Sure.
said, "Oh, you know what? The wine cask strength rye
Yeah,
is really good with a little bit of rum." So I'm like, okay, I got to try that.
that's
So I
cool.
did a 1-for-1 with the dark rum,
Okay.
and was like, I need to get another bottle of this and another bottle of this,
Nice
and
to make a
combine
whole
both of them,
thing. Yeah.
into a big bottle. A friend recently sent me, and I think he posted it on the group that he had just gotten the bottle so he could do another blend, but it was, I don't even remember what it is now. I mean, it's like Mirador and something else,
Okay.
but he calls it Balcones 27, and
Okay.
it was delightful. I'm like, do you have more of this? Like,
That sounds
where'd you get
fun.
this? He's like, I made this. I'm like,
Ooh.
if you make more, I'd like a whole bottle.
Yeah, for real, right? That's cool. Ooh, brimstone finish single malt. Ooh, yes, please. That sounds awesome.
Oh,
I do like. Said number 4132. I assume you probably have one of those.
4132.
Yes.
Who's posting about that?
Leighton Hiller.
Oh, he would.
That sounds
Um,
awesome. Like brimstone is one of my absolute favorite things about Balcones makes. So
and see, and that's another very, how would you describe that?
it's a love it or hate
Divisive.
it.
A very divisive bottle.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
some people are just absolutely, this is the worst thing ever. Why
And
are
I'm
they?
like, yes,
They should
please.
have got rid of that instead of True
No.
Blue 100.
I think I've gone through
Right?
at least the only thing I've noticed with it, and I don't know if you've noticed this, is over the years has gotten less smoky and sweeter as it's gone from younger to older over the last several years. Because I've gone through at least a case of them. And it's like, these are a little bit different each time. Which is not a bad thing. It's just I
Yeah.
just noticed the big flavor
What's the
difference.
oldest? What's the oldest
The oldest I probably
bottle
had
of it
was
you've had?
probably I think a 15 brimstone. It's sadly long gone. It was delicious.
Brandon here in Oregon, one of my co-admins, he has, I think, a 2013 and a 2014.
Damn,
So
that's awesome.
I've gotten
I have
I've
not
gotten to
tried
try
one that
both of
old. That's
those.
cool as shit. That's cool. Have you tried either of the pilgrimages? Is what Tom wants to know.
I've got a regular and I've got a 15th anniversary.
Perfect. Then yes, both are fabulous.
Yeah, they're good. I think the biggest thing that has so many people as fans is the selection.
Oh, that's one of my favorites
Because
about Balcones is like it's like this. No other brands like that. This is crazy town.
and I get it. Some people are going to be, it goes back to, some people are going to be mad because they've said, okay, we're not doing bourbon anymore. We're not doing this anymore. But people, your American single malt or your single malt fans had Texas One. Your bourbon fans had Weeded, High Rye, the Pot Still, Blue Corn, the Blue Corn
Right.
wine finish.
There's something for everyone.
You got your rye fans, you've got your rye fans, or your rum fans and your rye fans. So
Yeah.
there was kind of something that hit your wheelhouse in their profile, in their selections. So
Jason's like, everything they run isn't malt time. You better spend running more malt.
and like, you got people that are just really strong. They have strong opinions about it. They're
God,
like,
that's funny.
no, they should just stick to this. But it's like they're what really, I think, made me such a, I mean, obviously I said that rye that I got made me, Balcones is my whiskey. I mean, I have my favorite Islay, I have my favorite Scotch, I have my favorite Irish,
Sure.
I have my favorite bourbon, and I'm in a bunch of different bourbon things, and they're like, I'm constantly, they're talking, if you could pick any Kentucky bourbon, what would you pick? And then I send a picture of Blue Corn bourbon.
I'm like, Balcones.
And then people are like, we're not talking to you. Who let you in this group?
So
And I'm like, whatever.
Well,
You know,
what makes me mad though is how many, not mad, but it's like unopen-minded people are about, oh, it's not from Kentucky, it's not good. I'm like, dude, just open your mind up a little bit. Just try other things. It doesn't have to come from Kentucky to be good bourbon. I promise. There's lots of good bourbon from other states.
yeah.
And Balcones
I mean,
is definitely an example of it.
I've had some ryes out of Pennsylvania. Have you ever had any Liberty Pole?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
So a buddy and I exchanged. I sent him a Westward. He
Nice.
sent me some Liberty Pole. Because Westward's right here in the Portland area. I have at least 4 bottles in the shelf here. That Pennsylvania rye is like no other rye I've ever had. They just make it different. It's just
it's totally different.
It totally has its own little profile. So Kentucky bourbon, yeah, it's some great stuff, but Texas bourbon is phenomenal.
Well, there's also way broader depth on Texas bourbon, whereas Kentucky bourbon has pretty much this lane. That's where Kentucky bourbon is.
But you do get your I don't want to say snob, but you get your people that are like, if it isn't Kentucky bourbon, then I don't want it. Well,
there's definitely
guess what? There's some really good bourbon coming out of Alabama and Virginia. And,
Detling's great. Yeah, I love their stuff. Alabama.
I got to try. I didn't get to get a bottle, but I got to try Mississippi Memory, which
where's that?
So it was a Lost Lantern. Like, you know how Lost Lantern usually gives a name.
Yeah.
So they've got Lost Lantern, Gentle Giant, which is Balcones. Well, it was Lost Lantern. They called it Mississippi Memory, and it was a Alabama. No, Mississippi Memory, Mississippi. Distillery that's now closed. And I was like, oh, do you guys I'm talking to Adam and Nora, and I'm like, at Lost Lantern, I'm like, do you guys have any more of those bottles? They're like, no, they're gone. I'm like, that's a shame, because that was some good stuff.
That's too bad.
And it was just like this guy, he's like, hey, I want to make this. And so he did, and it was good, but it just didn't work out for him. And so he had to close, but they were able to get some of it before he, closed up shop. And it was just an amazing pour. Just the flavor out of that was crazy.
Hey, Birdman, Whiskey Uncensored. And right, Holiday's really good in Missouri. Totally agree. Rich Grain Distilling. Is that who you're talking about?
I think so.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember the name. I didn't.
Guys.
I just remember the name that they gave it. So.
Oh, yeah. SoCal makes 117th West Piers. Yeah, their stuff's really good, David. Totally agree on that. It is fun. This is in general. I am concerned, not so much, obviously, with Diageo and Balcones, we're good, I think we're going to lose more distilleries over the next year or two. A significant portion of small craft are going to go under.
I think that, it's kind of like the craft brewery.
It is.
Oregon had... Even the big boys have cut back.
They have
McTarnahan's. They've all kind of had to rein themselves in, because it just got, everybody was doing craft brewing, and it got so oversaturated that people started, breweries started dying off. So I think you might see that same thing with some distilling. And I hope not. I especially, there are some really, really good local. Just in Oregon. You got the big one, Westward. You got it. It's not whiskey, but Aviation Gin.
Do like that stuff.
Portland. And then we've got Freeland Distilling. Freeland Spirits. We've got Aimseer Distilling. We've got Eastside, Big Bottom. We've got a big brewery called McMinimums, and they have multiple different locations. Okay. They've gotten into distilling. So there's McMinimums Distilling. You got Ewing Young Distilling. You got Killdeer, which is a little place that I discovered. I was driving through the back roads of of my town, and I'm like, oh, there's a distillery up there. I better go check that out.
That's
and it's
cool.
just a guy that does it as a hobby, and
Awesome.
he's aging his barrels in his tasting room. Like, so
Nice.
you're leaning up against the barrels that he's aging, and
That's cool.
when he bottles, and then he doesn't have anything in reserve. But it's young, but it's pretty good, and
that works.
He's having fun doing it. So, you got a lot of different things, and I really hope that you don't see a lot of them die off, because
hopefully not.
You got the big guys that are always going to be there, Jack Daniels and Jim,
right. They're not going anywhere,
but
to say the least.
Some of these little guys are putting out some good stuff. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, bourbon. Unfortunately, you're right. I'm sure in New York, Balcone is not so. Even delicious single will sit for years. The good news for you, bourbon, is that means you get to drink them and they'll still be there for you. So think about it in the positive fact for yourself. It says, I snatched up the blue corn cask strength wine cask. The owner was shocked I was buying it. Also cleared out their single barrel Balcones rum. Ignorant. Yeah, Dave, I don't blame you. That sounds great. Interesting. He's in New York, Layton. Good stuff. Yeah, it's a shame, but people do know or don't know, and obviously it comes down to personal preference either way. But if you don't know about it, it's obviously much more difficult to sell something. Wow, a rye pick, 2 True Blues, and a single malt are all awesome, and no one buys them. Wow. Well, like I said, good news for you. At least you get to have them. So that's a huge plus for you. Hand delivery does exist. That's true. Hey, Steven, is you there? You need to pull out the Balcones. You just need to find it. See, Steven, that's a good. You should always try the Balcones rye. It's always a good choice. If it says Balcones on it, it's a good choice. There's no wrong Balcones. Like, I've never met a Balcones I don't like. I mean, there's obviously ones I really, really freaking love and are stellar, and then they're just good because there's this everyday staples. So
what do you think of the Big Baby? You got a bottle of Big Baby?
Yeah, Big Baby, the 5-year tequila cask. It's good. Yeah. It's unique. It's different, obviously, than the other stuff they put. I liked it. I thought it was fun.
I have a bottle. I haven't been into it in a while. I was like, okay,
Yeah, I haven't poured it probably since I reviewed it. That was like when it first came out. It was like 3 years ago, something like that. Yeah. No, Big Baby, Ben, is a 5-year Bald and Bond tequila cask matured. So similar concept to Baby Blue, except for a little bit different. It's good though. Did you like it or not? Not your thing.
Like you said, it's not horrible, but it's just it's definitely not a top 5 for me.
Yeah,
I know a couple people that really, really like it, and I'm like, okay,
yeah, and that's fine. Like that's why there's different ones for everybody. There's no wrong answers on it. But like I said, there's people that hate Brimstone too, and I think Brimstone's amazing. See, there you go. Ben's going to pour some Big Baby right now. Good choice. I don't think much of it at first, but it opens up nicely. Okay. Well, that works. And it could be that too. I'll have to go back and pour. I have not poured in a long time. The only squabble I have with Balcones is their corks suck.
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah.
They need.
I haven't had any break off, but I've had some that like flake.
Oh yeah, it's not. They need better corks, or just go to synthetic or screw top. Will be fine by me. I can't.
I don't really want a screw top, but maybe a synthetic would be better.
I don't mind screw tops. The Japanese do really nice screw tops, and I'm fine with it for very expensive.
Of course,
whiskeys.
Tullymore is one of my favorite Irishes, and almost all of their bottles are screw tops. So
yeah, exactly.
I guess I can't really complain.
Nah, works fine. Yeah, they do fly. It's the one thing. So I do keep a lot of extra Balcones corks around for that very reason. Yeah, most of you have been replaced. Yeah, Jason, that is a problem. Is cask strength rye still? Yeah, no, they still have cask strength rye. That's still a thing. You just have to go
that's always. As far as I know, I don't want to speak out of turn or say something, but I'm pretty sure cask strength single barrels are going to be a thing.
That's going to be a thing because it sells.
It's just the Rye 100 and the
Right.
True Blue 100
Right.
that I know are not getting produced anymore.
Right. I guess you gotta have your bottle and bond rye that replaces Rye 100, which is fine.
Which
They're
I really like that one too. Like
it's good. There's more chocolatiness though on the original Rye 100 though that I find than in the bottle and bond.
Yeah.
But it's subjective.
Yeah, I know. I'm feeling that yawn too.
Yeah.
I'm looking at
Good news, only
3:00.
9:15 for you. It's 11:15 here.
Yeah, but 3:00 comes really early.
Geez, I didn't know you worked at 3 a.m. Okay, then yes. I didn't realize you worked at 3 a.m. So yeah, we should wrap this up then. Well,
so real quick, if you'll indulge me,
yeah,
I just want
absolutely.
everybody to know that we still have 26 bottles of the last pick that we did, the one without the side sticker, the Sherry Cask. They are available at Diageo. The free shipping is no longer, but if you subscribe to their emails, they will send you a code for reduced shipping. As well, there are still 35 bottles of the Cult Abides, which was the Lost Lantern Westward Whiskey Stout Cask bottle. That is available through lostlantern.com. If you do a bundle of 3 bottles, shipping is free. And then some people have asked, like, when's the next barrel pick coming out? And I don't have a time frame for that, but I can say that the pick team is assembled and we are waiting on barrels to be selected. So sometime in the future, probably, I don't know, sometime in 2025, we will be announcing a 6th barrel pick.
Nice. Good choice.
As far as when that will happen, I am not sure because we are, obviously waiting on whiskey to do its thing and get to a certain age.
Yeah, that does have to do that there. Finishing that with a Texas Live Oak. Good choice.
So,
let's see. Superb pick. I recommend 22722. All right, Ben says that one's great. That's good enough. What else should people, or 12722, what else should people know about the Cult of Balcones? Or just going to join the Facebook group? Or what else do people need to know about it? And they just want to see sexy pictures of Balcones bottles, or what else do they need to know?
Well, we're on Facebook. We have had multiple different meetups. I know the Pacific Northwest admins have all gotten together at Whiskeys of the World in Seattle.
Nice.
A couple different times. I know that a lot of different people have met up at the distillery, both for 15th anniversary and other times just showing up and hanging out and meeting each other. Some people up in the Northeast have gotten together.
Nice.
So it's just, a pretty good group. We got people all over the world. I mean, I don't remember exactly where everybody is, but we've got people in Australia. We've got people in Korea. We got somebody that's living in Japan. I think they're working there right now.
Very cool.
England, Europe, Italy, I think.
Damn, that's awesome, dude.
That's cool. If you get on the Facebook thing, you'll find Leighton has a map that shows where everybody's at. If you add your name and pin to the map. Every Christmas for the last 3 years, we've done an Advent calendar. It's up to 3 calendars this year.
Nice.
So kind of a cool little thing. We've done a couple of what do you call it? Some raffles to help people out that needed needed some help with some medical bills. Just a good group of people that just love Texas whiskey and Balcones, and so
it is definitely one of the best distilleries as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Oh yeah,
great people, lots of good friends there. you make new friends. And hey, I'd be up for us hosting at the castle a Cult of Balcones meetup. I think we could certainly make that happen in the near future if you guys are interested in doing that. I think that'd be fun. We might have a few special ones. Let's see there. Bourbon says most bottles are $50 for Balcones there in New York. Wow, that's awesome. I guess good for people finding single barrels, and that's except for the single malt. Not bad. That's wild. Where big ass gold cup.
Oh, that's one thing we didn't talk about is Catalea.
Oh, which is
That was just such an interesting bottle.
I love that bottle so much. That may be the best thing they've ever made. As far as a standard release that was, I mean, I know it was a special release, but yeah, it's so good. Oh yeah, Shinerbuck is definitely good. So is Yingling. I agree, Mr. Mom. 3 to 10. That is very true. Those are both fantastic beers.
Yeah.
Oh, Jason, you open that Cataleja, man. It is spectacular. Yeah, that's just special. You drink that every day. It's a little expensive, but it's worth every freaking penny. Membership's now pending. So Burr Ben's going to join you within the fantastic for the Cult of Balcones. See, she'll get a new member tonight. Even better. Hopefully more than one. Hopefully get a few tonight, which would be great for you guys. So, and Ben might do a bit of shopping, so I expect to see lots of sexy pictures of Balcones bottles now from him. The Cult of Balcones, which would be great.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm seeing like 5 or 6 people asking to join. So
great. Nice. That's good. I'm glad that we got some new members for you guys. It's fantastic. Steven has submitted his as well. Very cool.
Push us up.
Yeah, it's good stuff, guys. We'll fun. Yeah, we'll like I said, we'll do some stuff. We should definitely set up meetup. I don't know how often you ever get a chance to come down to Texas, but if you do get a chance to come down, we'd certainly like to set one up with you. Or
I would love to get down there. The only problem is now the kid that was in Waco has moved back up here. So
not really a reason to come here then. Understand.
I'd have to like convince the wife. Like, hey, let's go on a vacation. And by the way, we're gonna do a bunch of whiskey stuff.
Yeah. Now, does your wife like whiskey or not as much, really?
The funny part is that everybody's like talking. Women have a better sense of palate and nose. So I'm constantly like, hey, what are you getting out of this? I'll hand her the glass, and she's like, alcohol. I'm like,
well, she's not wrong.
And she's like, I'm like, okay, away from your nose, and then go back into it and really kind of think. She's like, ooh, a lot of cherry. She's like, but I'm still getting a lot of alcohol.
I mean, with Balcones, a lot of it is cask strength. So it's fair.
She's not a drinker, so.
No, hey, it's all good. My wife loves Balcones. She's a big fan. She's a big fan of Isla too, so not a surprise.
That's one thing. She'll be like, this smells like the ocean. Anytime I hand her an Isla, she's like, this smells like the ocean. I'm like, well, yeah, it's Scotch that was done on an island in the ocean. So,
yes. You're in the Portland area because Jason Coates, I know he travels up there sometimes.
Yeah, I'm outside of Portland in a little town. Well, not so little town called Hillsboro. Grown up here. I was a military brat, so I was born overseas. We bounced around, so I was New York and Oklahoma, and then finally back in Oregon, and then I left and went into the military, but came back, and
one of his best friends lives there, so perfect.
Yeah, there's a few of us up here. Like I said, we got 3 admins out of the 6 that are in the Pacific Northwest. So, nice. And people are like, how did you, create a group for Texas whiskey? And I'm like, it was out of the blue. It was just, I tried this stuff and fell in love with it and was like, hey, let's make our own group and like talk about it and share, where we find it and pictures and all that. And just, like I said, it just blossomed. Like I really, really didn't think it'd be more than 20 people. And now we're up to
now for you guys?
We're up to 752,
Nice.
not including the people that are requesting the join.
Cool.
tonight.
So maybe close to 760. Awesome. That's fantastic. It's pretty great from a, hey, let's make a random ass group. Awesome.
Yeah, and again, had no clue what I was doing.
That's
And
awesome. I love it.
if not for my admins, Eric McKinley, Eric Elvigan, Brandon Thorpe, Chris Stampart, and Scott Robles, the group probably would have fallen apart because they're like, hey, do this, don't do this.
Yeah.
We need to keep people from saying these words on Face Group because we'll get closed down. I mean, oddly enough, 2 of us got banned for 24 hours because of something we posted as admins.
Hey,
And,
that's hilarious.
Facebook was like, and it wasn't even whiskey related.
Oh, jeez.
We both said something that was a no and got banned for it.
You'll have to tell me after we're done.
Oh yeah, no, it was
banned for.
and of course we're both the military veterans, so we said something that promoted something.
Where?
So yeah, it is what it is.
3-day ban.
So then we're like, okay, we're gonna have to watch what we say. So
Jeez.
I got to be careful now. Even the other day, I oddly enough told a buddy, an army buddy's wife, to punch him in the arm for me, and got a temporary ban from Facebook for it.
What?
I was wishing her happy birthday on Facebook and said, oh, by the way, punch your husband in the arm for me, and they deleted my comment.
You got to be kidding me. Wow.
Yep. So
okay.
Yeah, so if people are like, why did my comment get deleted? It's because we're trying to protect the group.
I'm going to give you the boot got you a 24 ban. Holy crap. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, it's almost 9:30. I
Yeah.
need to get to bed.
All right.
Thank you so much for inviting me on
Absolutely.
that. I appreciate it greatly.
Stick around here for a minute. I'm going to say cheers, everybody. I bet you were pissed. Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate it for sending these awesome samples. Really appreciate it. This was fantastic. And we'll see you guys all next week for the whiskey diet. So that should be fun. Cheers. All right. And stream.